It's 2 days before payday, and you already know you shouldn't look, but you do it anyway. You open your banking app, and the number staring back at you is $43. Not zero. That would almost be funny at this point. Just $43. Enough to remind you exactly how close you are to nothing, but not enough to actually do anything with it. And here's the part that really gets you. You got paid 12 days ago. A full paycheck. Where did it even go? If you've ever stared at that number and felt your stomach drop a little, you're not broken, and you're not bad with money. You're stuck in something a lot more common and a lot more fixable than you think. Here's a number that might make you feel a little less alone. More than half of Americans, 54%, are currently living paycheck to paycheck. That's not a fringe statistic. That's the majority. And it's not just people struggling to get by. Plenty of people making solid, comfortable incomes are on that list too. Doctors, engineers, people with 2 incomes in the household. The number on the paycheck changes. The feeling of being 1 bill away from trouble somehow doesn't. My name is Coco, and today we're breaking down why this cycle happens, why it's not really about willpower, and exactly how to start stepping out of it, even if you can't just earn more tomorrow. Because that's usually the advice people get, and it usually doesn't work, for reasons we're about to get into. If you've ever felt like your money disappears before you even get a chance to use it, hit subscribe, because this channel exists for exactly that problem. Let's start with something most people get wrong. Paycheck to paycheck isn't primarily an income problem. If it were, giving everyone a raise would fix it completely, and it doesn't. People making $50,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. People making $150,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck too. The number changes. The cycle doesn't. So what's actually happening? It's usually a mix of 3 things working together. First, lifestyle expands to match income, almost automatically. You get a raise, your rent creeps up, your car payment gets a little nicer, your subscriptions multiply. Nothing about it feels reckless in the moment. It just happens. Second, there's no buffer. Without savings sitting between you and a surprise expense, every single unexpected cost, a car repair, a medical bill, a slightly higher than usual electric bill, has to come directly out of next month's paycheck, which pushes next month into the same corner. That's the loop. Third, and this is the one people almost never talk about, most paychecks and most bills are on different schedules. Your rent might be due on the 1st. Your paycheck might land on the 15th and the 30th. Your car payment might hit right when your account is at its lowest point in the month. It's not that you don't have enough money over the course of a month. It's that the money and the bills are never in the same place at the same time. And there's a fourth piece that quietly makes all of this worse. Without any cushion, every decision gets made under pressure. When you're staring at $43 and a bill is due tomorrow, you don't have room to think. You just react. Maybe that means a small overdraft. Maybe it means putting something on a credit card just this once. None of those choices are irrational. They're exactly what anyone would do with no room to breathe. But each one quietly makes next month a little tighter than this one, which is how the cycle keeps feeding itself. This isn't a small, isolated problem either. The number of Americans describing their financial situation as struggling or in crisis has jumped from 22% 5 years ago to 34% today. That's a 55% increase in just 5 years. And worry about money has climbed too. Over half of Americans now say they think about money stress every single day, up from under half just 5 years back. At the same time, more people are actually trying to fight back against it. The number of Americans who say they follow a real monthly budget has grown significantly over the last few years, and a lot of that growth is coming from younger people and middle-income households specifically. So the cycle is real, but so is the shift toward people actively trying to get ahead of it, which is exactly the group this video is for. So if this is you, you're not the exception, you're the majority. In the middle of something that's genuinely gotten harder over the last several years, not just something you're failing to manage. Here's the good news, and it's a real one. Paycheck to paycheck isn't a personality trait. It's a structural problem, which means it has a structural fix. You don't need to double your income to break this cycle. You need to shift the timing and build a small buffer. And both of those are things you can actually build, piece by piece, without waiting for a raise. Step 1. Map out exactly when money comes in and when your bills actually go out. On a real calendar, not just in your head. Most people have never actually laid this out visually, and the moment they do, the why behind the tight weeks becomes obvious. You'll usually find 1 or 2 specific days each month where multiple bills collide right before a paycheck lands. Those are your danger zones, and once you can see them, you can plan around them instead of getting surprised by them every single time. This step alone takes maybe 15 minutes, and it's the one most people skip because it feels too simple to matter. But you can't fix a timing problem you've never actually looked at directly. Once it's on paper, the tight weeks stop feeling random and start feeling predictable, which means they stop feeling scary. Step 2. Call one company and ask to shift your due date. Almost every landlord, credit card company, and utility provider will move your payment date if you simply ask. Most people just never ask. Moving even one recurring bill by a week or 2 can completely break up a dangerous cluster of due dates without changing how much you owe at all. Step 3. Build what's called a 1-week buffer. Not a full emergency fund, just enough cushion so that this month's paycheck is covering next month's bills, instead of this month's paycheck racing to cover this month's bills the moment it lands. Even a few $100s sitting between you and your bills changes the entire feeling of the cycle, because you stop reacting in real time and start operating one step ahead. You build this the same slow, boring way you'd build any small fund. A fixed amount out of every paycheck, automated so it doesn't rely on willpower. The number doesn't need to be big. What matters is that it exists at all, because a 1-week buffer is the difference between "I have a few days to figure this out" and "I need this solved in the next 6 hours." Step 4. Every time your income goes up, a raise, a bonus, a side gig, decide in advance where half of it goes before your daily life has a chance to quietly absorb it. This isn't about deprivation. It's about making sure that when your income grows, your cushion grows with it, instead of your lifestyle silently eating the entire increase. I want to tell you about someone I'll call Alex. Alex had a stable job, a normal apartment, no wild spending habits, and still hit zero almost every single month, usually a few days before payday. For years, Alex assumed the answer was simply make more money, and kept chasing raises that never actually fixed the feeling. Then Alex tried something different. Alex mapped out the month on paper and found one ugly cluster. Rent, a car payment, and a phone bill all landed within 4 days of each other, right before payday. Alex called the phone provider and moved that one bill by 10 days. Just that single change broke the cluster apart. At the same time, Alex started routing $50 from every paycheck into a separate account, no matter what. Small, almost forgettable amounts. There were a couple of paychecks where it was tempting to skip it, a friend's birthday dinner, a slightly bigger grocery run than usual. But Alex kept the transfer automatic on purpose, specifically so it never came down to a in-the-moment decision. Within about 4 months, Alex had a real 1-week buffer for the first time in years. The real test came when Alex's car needed new brakes out of nowhere. A year earlier, that would have meant a scramble, a credit card, a stressful few days, maybe a call to a family member. This time, Alex just paid it, felt the sting of the expense, and moved on with the day. No spiral, no scramble. Alex told me afterward, "I didn't get a raise. I didn't cut out anything I loved. I just stopped being 1 day away from zero every single month." That's the entire goal here. Not becoming rich, just becoming steady. So here's the full path. Understand that this cycle is about timing and buffer, not about being bad with money. Map out exactly when your money and your bills collide. Shift one bill to break up the worst cluster. Build a small 1-week buffer so you're finally ahead instead of behind. and protect your progress by directing part of every future raise straight into that cushion before your lifestyle quietly catches up to it. Most people living paycheck to paycheck aren't failing at money. They're stuck inside a timing problem nobody ever explained to them, and they've been blaming themselves for something that was never really about willpower in the first place. You don't need a bigger salary to stop feeling like you're sprinting just to stand still. You need 1 week of breathing room between you and your bills. That's it. That's the whole shift. Not a total life overhaul. Not a strict new personality. Just 1 week of space that didn't exist before. So here's your move today. Pull up your bills and your paydays side by side. Find the one collision that's hurting you the most and make one phone call to move it. That single call is usually the first domino. Everything else in this video gets easier once that one cluster is broken up. If this made even one thing click for you, do me a favor. Hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications so you catch the next one. I'm building this channel for people who are done feeling like their paycheck disappears before they even get to use it. Come be part of that with me.